the second day of the month of October in 2024. Welcome you to the discussion. Today we have our guest already in the studio, Bayo Ogundimu. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Debo. Good morning, Bolaji, and good morning, all.
So we'll be looking at the headlines this morning from the dailies. We'll be looking at one by one and saying what we can make of them. There's some very interesting stories, and most of the stories this morning are Independence Day related. But then let's start from Anambra State. Bolaji.
Yes, sir, from Anambra State, Governor Soludo to begin payment of 70,000 naira new minimum wage come October. The state non-professor Charles Soludo has announced that his administration will begin October 2024. Made the announcement during the parade ceremony to celebrate Nigeria's 64th independence. Dr. Alex Ekweme. Now that this is starting from Anambra, we hope that's
Good morning. It's a very good one, and I'm sure that this minimum negotiation and all the states of the federation were represented by each of the zones. It has been signed into law, and I think it becomes a criminal offense for any state governor or say or pronounce that it cannot pay the minimum wage. So starting from, it's a very good news, the announcement made by Governor Soludo. But I think that the wage increase bill was signed, commence July 29th. So what happens to August? What happens to September? This is the thing that happens in the States. The law came into effect in July. So one will expect that the effective date of implementation should be July 29th, 2020, July 29, 2024. But be that as it may, we will say it's a welcome development. The governor has come out, and I'm sure that the workers in the state will smile. Should be expected too that other states will take a cue. Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, and we should expect that in the not too distant time, especially also in our state, in Ogun State, we should hear the good news.
64th Independence, Ipman seeks direct petrol supply. Now, this story is picked from the Punch newspaper. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria has urged the federal government to allow its members to source a direct supply of petroleum products to ease the pressure in the sector. The chairman of Ipman Enugu Debo, in charge of Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu State, Mr. Chinedu Yanso, said this on Tuesday in Awka, Anambra State. Now, there was this interview also granted by the PRO of Ipman, and he said it is in the best interest of Nigerians and, price reduction, in the interest of price reduction and best interest of Nigerians for Ipman to be able to access the product directly from, the refinery. Even though the government's position is still that they should go and buy from NNPC, who will buy from the refineries. Now, many Nigerians are concerned about this. What the government is working towards is the interest of Nigerians and Nigeria. Then they should allow Ipman and other distributors to be able to
Other
players to be able to access the food directly from the refineries.
Well, I would say it's still so funny and it's unbelievable. I think we operate a free market enterprise, and I feel that strongly that Ipman should be allowed to have direct access to Dangote refinery. I'm still why the NNPCL will want to first buy the product and sell to other players in the sector. I think the whole thing is still shrouded in secrecy, and it behoves government or the Minister of Petroleum Resources, that's the president, whom we have argued may not really have the time to focus attention on that area. But we have the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Enekin Okpobiri. I think it is important in the interest of Nigerians and in interest of fair play that the IPMAN, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, be allowed access to Dangote refinery or any other refinery for that purpose. Why the NNPCL wants to act as a middleman in this circumstance is unbelievable. And I think one of the areas where Labour should also focus our attention is this area of supply of the products. I think the NLC should come up that the federal government, as represented by the N, should allow a fair play in the sector. Allow IPMAN access to all the refineries. Okay, let us now look at it. When our refinery starts to work properly now, what is going to be the situation? You see, the president has pronounced that these marketers or all the players in the sector be allowed to buy in naira, and that even when the crude is going to be supplied to the Dangote refinery, it should be paid for in naira. And so one will expect that when this happens, it will rub on positively on us, the final buyers. So why the NNPCL is still holding on to that area is left to the NNPCL to come out to tell Nigerians. But I think that's it's not only in the area of struggling or arguing or hugging for wage increase that the NLC should be active in this area too. I think the NLC should come up and compel the government to allow a fair play in the sector. That is when the we will be seen to want to have a fair deal of what is presently happening. I don't think there's any, apart from some of these NNPCL affiliates, I don't think there's any other station that is selling below 1,050 naira now. I think with the coming on board of the Dangote refinery, this should have, at least we should have had some kind of reduction.
There's a story coming from the Punch newspaper. Tinubu, President Bola Tinubu, stated that Nigeria must either reform for progress as usual and risk collapse. President Tinubu said this in a live broadcast, however, said is that taking over the leadership of the country 16 months ago, decided to reform the political economy and defense architecture, given the critical juncture the country found itself, either reform or collapse. How right is the president?
Well, I listened to the broadcast and I took time to also read it after the broadcast. And my conclusion was and still that the broadcast did not differ from what we have been hearing the president tell us since this debacle. Yes, we have to reform, or God forbid, we won't have. But what Nigerians are yearning for at this point in time is the result biting the trees, just like the Yoruba adage says.
I like the way you put it.
I want it about for so you see, the reforms should come with some kind of palliatives, and I think the federal government and the government at all levels have not been quite uh, honest with these reforms. How do I mean? Take the issue of palliatives. Now, the palliatives was to run till when the minimum wage will be paid, especially at the federal government level, at the federal level. But for heaven's sake, this thing was stopped in February, and this is October. And the minimum wage of the thing, the implementation will start in August. And so what happens to March to July of those palliatives? Coming down to the states, let us use our state as a case study. I think the payment, I think, was about 10,000 naira or whatever. It has been stopped since, and even at the time it started, fuel prices had not increased to the level that we have now. So where are the reforms? Where are the palliatives? Where are those things that will make life easier for the mass of the people? So we don't pray that Nigeria should collapse. Much as the president is calling for sacrifices on the part of Nigerians every time, I think the government also needs to be honest, and also needs to come up with uh, with policies that will alleviate this sufferings. We must give ourselves. Nigerians are suffering, and like I said at one of my appearances at on this platform, I said Nigerians are merely existing. We are not living, and I'm sure you know the meaning of that. And nobody can plan now, except those that are in government, those that have the opportunity to the commonwealth, and they display that affluence. We saw it some couple of days ago. I won't say more than that. We saw it, and tongues were wagging. That we still have this array of cars in this country. How did we get all these things? In the midst of the sufferings of the people, you saw all those display of wealth, those that we think should give some level of policies. That's my take, that the government must come up with policies. We don't pray for the collapse of Nigeria, but Nigerians are collapsing.
No, but they've been coming up with all sorts of policies.
That's what I'm saying. Bolaji, where are the products of those policies? How did you get to the office today? How did you take your children to school today? I'm sure you must have taken them on Okada. I mean, what are we telling the younger ones? Are we giving them? So the reforms, yes, we agree, but Nigeria will not collapse. But Nigerians are collapsing. That's the way I will see it. Nigerians by the day and by the seconds are collapsing. So it behoves government to come up with policies that will also ensure that Nigerians live well, that the vast majority of the citizens are not collapsing.
All right. If there is a class of Nigerians that's been vocal, that have been coming forward and talking loudly, it's you. And they have been, from time to time, going out and mobilizing across the nation, saying that this things cannot continue the way it is. That
But we are the youth.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, I'm coming.
All right.
So they have been talking. There have been at least protests in the past. A couple
Protests.
There was supposed to be another one yesterday, which thankfully, has not held. So, but you see, there is this body language from the federal level yesterday, where Mr. President actually mentioned something about conference for the youth. We have had national conference in the past and so let me just take that story from the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu announces 30-day youth confab. As part of his administration's broader agenda to empower Nigeria's youth, President Bolaji Tinubu has announced plans for a national youth conference set to take place over 30 days. Now, he spoke and addressed the nation and said that the conference aims to tackle key issues such as education, employment, innovation, security, and giving the young people the platform to contribute to national policy discussions. Now, it didn't stop there. At the lower house, Speaker Abbas also said something about the youth, and he said that Nigeria's young population has what it takes to correct the mistakes of the past and make Nigeria better than it is right now. I believe Nigerian youth know that they have what it takes. And the president is saying there's going to be a national youth conference for the youth. So I want us to deliberate on this. How far-reaching how desirable, number one, is a national youth conference, and how far-reaching can it be?
When we look at the desirability of the confab, let us look at the modus operandi.
Okay.
How will the youth be selected? for the confab. Well, for instance, the youth in my village at Idiori, I am from Idiori in Abeokuta North local government. Will they be represented? I know you have your own village too.
I have village.
Even Bolaji has, not minding the fact that he's married to an Igbo. And in all of our states of the federation, you have our units, we have our hamlets, we have our villages, and we have all that. Have we seen the modalities for the selection? Look at all the confabs that we have had in the past. How were the participants at the confabs selected? Now that is one. Two, who are the youths that will go there to talk and about the future of Nigeria? Now, given that all these will have been settled, then what is the focus? What will be the focus of, and will the conference have will it have the opportunity of making recommendations to government, and how compelling will the government be interested or intending to kind of utilize those the fallouts from the conference and all of that. For me, I see it as one of those things that the government wants to do, one of those methods of keeping the youths, keeping them, asking them to shutting them up. Because we have had arrays of youth organizations. Is it the NYCN? Is it LinkedIn? And the first thing you will see is that there will be rifts, there will be a lot of struggles, there will be a lot of on how the selection will be made, because we know that they are going there. When they get there, they are also going to be given allowances, sitting allowance, and all of that, travel allowance. They be lodged in hotels and all those things. See, I think it's for me personally. I may be wrong. I think it's a ploy to buy time and to kind of shut up that very vociferous part of the nation. The youths as presently constituted have not shown any sign of being very serious to take the bull by the horn and to rescue the nation. Look at let us take NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students. I mean, go and look at the leadership. Would you call those ones youth? Go and look at NYCN. You find array of so many interest groups saying they are youth. Then by the time this thing starts, you see the infighting, you see the struggles. It could also lead to some kind of assassination, kidnapping, and what have you. For me, let the government come up with a clear agenda of what the conference is going to address, and let the government tell us that the product or the outcome of such a confab will be implemented and will be acceptable to the government, no matter how hard it may seem to be. So it is then and only then. Let the government also come up with foolproof system of selecting those that will constitute the youth representatives. That's my take.
We held a national conference. Now àwọn bàbá àwọn youth wà ń bẹ̀. Àwọn dádì wọn ló lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n lò. So mo láì bẹ ṣe pọ̀ tẹ̀.
You are going.
All right, it's still morning flight on OGBC 9.5 FM, and we still have Mr. Bayo Ogundimu here with us in the studio. Now, back here in Ogun State, Governor Dr. Abiodun on Tuesday said rising inflation, unemployment, and cost of living have impacted the lives of many, creating anxiety about the future. Governor Abiodun, who said this while speaking during Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary at the Arcade Grounds in Abeokuta, however, renewed the call for all hands to be on deck. Now, to Osun State, the Osun State governor also reaffirms commitment to unity, progress, and then, of course, that's Senator Ademola Adeleke. He also reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the core values that define the nation and all this. Now, we've been going
So
back and
many
forth,
messages on
you know.
Independence Day. But Mr. Bawo Goodman, let me call your attention to this Nigerian Tribune story. Candidates are to pay 50,000 naira henceforth for certificates reprinted. Okay, maybe you had your certificate earlier and got lost or stolen, whatever happened to it. You now will go back to NECO to get your certificate back or get another copy.
That's
You are now to pay
50,000.
50,000 naira.
Well, we have to look at it. Is the result to be regenerated that candidates will not have to pay for such a colossal sum um, for a reprint or whatever? I think it's an attempt to reap us. Well, I left I left secondary school in 1981. That was when I wrote my school certificate, and it's been a long time since I left the university, for my first degree and masters, and I don't know. So if peradventure the thing gets lost now, I don't know what my universities that I attended will ask me to come and pay. See, it is something that is funny at this point in time. I don't see it as something that is serious on the part of those examination bodies. Where would these bodies expect the students, the unfortunate in quote students, to get the money? It comes back to the parents. Students who have graduated, who have been sitting down at home for 5, 6, 7, some 10 years, and the student gets unfortunate along the line.
Sir, please hold your thought.
Okay.
Let's quickly put this on. Hello.
Good morning, Bayo Bolaji.
Good morning, sir.
That's a good one. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. My name remains Wole Osheni. I'm calling from my base, Ilaru.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Every day, I just laugh when I see our government reacting to issues. Now, let me ask you this question. Is it the government that is not responsive to the yearnings of Nigerians that will now put a conference there for the youths? What are the youths going to tell the government?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. Please go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Your contribution has not actually deviated from what we have been arguing since. And I think, like I said, and I still hold on strongly to that opinion. It's an attempt for government to buy time. Like you rightly observed, I'm not sure that, and I'm not convinced that the government, for instance, is aware of the sufferings of the Nigerian people, and I'm not sure that the bereft of ideas of how to kind of bring up solutions to these problems. So we have expressed the obvious. Government is just playing on our intelligence, and I think the labor has been cowed. We have the CSOs, the civil CLOs, civil liberty organizations, but to me, I'm not sure that they are so active again, unlike the late Canadian Professor Ole Soyinka in the days of Nadeko and all of that. It's good that we are not having the kind of scenario that we are having that we had during the Nadeko era. I think we will all have been maybe annihilated or what have you. Nigerians by the day have been pauperized, and I think everybody knows that we are sitting on the keg of gunpowder.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
No, you shouldn't. It's so hard. And you are refurbishing the vice president's residence with several billions of naira.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly respond to what the caller has just said. You look at it, the removal of subsidy was supposed to give us a lease of life. There are supposed to be some benefits occurring therefrom. But if we have any, I'm not sure that Nigerians um, are benefiting from it. And it is those in power that are really benefiting from it. We look at what demand reeled out that we all know. So it's very obvious that government is not addressing squarely all these issues, and I think we need to put pressure, and that's where I don't see the NSC doing enough. I'm not blaming the leadership, but I'm saying that the leadership should I mean, up her activities and ensure that it holds the government by the jugular at all levels, the state, the federal, the local government, and what have you. You see our leaders move about, and then you wonder if they are really there for the people. Good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Debo and Bolaji.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Roti, good morning. How are you? I know. Roti, good morning. How are you? Thank you. Wish you same. You can't do that now. No, you can't do that now. You thought it was 5,000.
They're talking of the compound. In fact, I just hope they will include the community too. They are not going to not let them spend, but the fact is that since our look at one I start by lockdown, the president wants to have some family. Just they will bring the food because they want they don't want as you said, the people will struggle to get the ticket to, but let's continue
to continue to praise, to pray as well.
now, thank God that they say working is an exercise. Many people are taking to working now. Just so that we don't have that. I have somebody that wants to go and buy a bike now. But he can be riding bike everywhere. I just hope that when the food of this country will come, it will not be hard one
Amen.
Amen.
Well, I love us as Nigerians. We always love to reduce everything to prayer. We love to pray. It's not that I don't pray. It's not that I don't also believe in the efficacy of prayer, but I also believe that we should spice up our actions and ask God to now give us results for those activities or actions. If we sit down and continue to pray without taking action, I'm afraid we are going nowhere.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning. Good morning, ma.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma.
The journalist there, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Adeyinka from Quarry Road.
You are welcome, ma.
A lot has been said. We will all continue to say the same thing. You see, when we continue saying the same thing every day, and no positive reactions out of them, they make one sick. I don't ask, what is happening in this country? Why are people out to make people suffer? How can I make the example say, you pay 50,000? Is it really China? It's very ridiculous. People are not just out to alleviate the surface of people. Very, very bad. I think they should think about these things. And even people are not free. We see God, let us do whatever we like. And give our shit to them. We don't have guns, we don't have ammunition, we don't have anything, we just have God. And we are too religious in this country. Everything is leading into God. I think our people is think well and think of their policies and their actions and the effects they are having on people. Let them change their mindset. Let them love this country. Let them love the people who are living over. The suffering is too much. I pray that God Almighty is still be with us and get us out of these woes.
Amen.
It is bad. The policies are just outrageous. The activities are not encouraging. And what you are seeing is not expecting. So I pray that one day something good will happen to us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My simple reaction to that is that freedom does not come on a platter of gold. You have to struggle and get it. It's like the kingdom of God that tolerate violence. Except we take the bull by the horns and fight for ourselves. Like you have said it, man. We are too religious, but we are not godly. We will keep on praying. We have been praying since, and well, I will also say that let's keep on hoping.
You said we should fight for ourselves.
We must fight. We must. You see, there are several ways of doing that. There are several ways of letting the government know that we are suffering, that we need a new lease of life. If you all, for instance, if you all sit down at home and when it is not convenient for us to get to the office, then government will know. But you see that when you are sitting down at home, some others are coming behind you, and so this is why government is able to manipulate us. But we need some leaders. We need leaders like Gani Fahimi, and I think of late Femi Falana has been slowing down. I don't know what's strong, but I think the youths also have to come up to kind of challenge government to come up to our responsibilities, but they are not doing that.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Debo.
Hilltop, you're welcome.
I've been following the people who are making contribution. And I say good morning to your visitor, your guest.
Good
He
morning.
has said a lot of things.
Good morning,
In
sir.
fact, I see I had a meeting with him. Everything that was in my mind was saying the youth conference. Okay, is the government going to accept the recommendation that the youth are going to do it? So what's the purpose of the conference is just to waste time. And the last one, Mrs. Anthony or Mrs. Yinka.
Mrs. Yinka, yes, you're right.
She said something very important, and I want us to look at. She said, we keep saying the same thing every year, nothing is. So, where did you hope for the name you call Nigeria? You might not believe. You see, medically, when you treat a disease for 64 years and it's not improving, the doctor will tell you that is just. So that's about Nigeria. Spiritually, in the Bible, even when God wanted to confuse and forgot maybe the people or against Israel, he changed the languages. So that's another thing. When you look at Nigeria, you see the difference in culture and the languages is a problem in Nigeria that will not allow Nigeria to survive. The people are still hope. They have their own government. We do that Canada. That's how they have the peace. Look at South and North Sudan. Look at North and South Korea. When they disengage, they have this. So the only way out of this country, let people go. Let us cancel Nigeria. Let's make a different name that will comprise our culture. Look at our governor here. If this guy should go to the federal level, they will forget him. But see what he's doing in Ogun now. Everything is working because he's working with his people. People who understand him. Water corporation, he revived it. Block protest, he revived it. Everything is going well. But go and do that at federal level. I'm telling you, all these people will just frustrate it. That's my contribution.
Well, thank you.
So
Hilltop, thank you.
Well, my simple reaction is that Nigeria is a forced union, just like you said. Nigeria is not a nation, just like the late sage Robert said. It's a mere geographical expression. We do not have the attributes of nation. So until maybe we have what he has advised or suggested, we keep on having the rigmarolling, coming back here to say and coming out saying it over as we are suffering and the government is not addressing it. It's as simple as that.
Yes, we appreciate everyone who was called in and those that worked together to make today's edition a success. I want to appreciate that Tony Oyulumade and Bisi Musari as studio manager, the Samuel Aneye, the ICT guys, Danosho, and Daniel Okechuku. It's been a Yemisi Shodipo production. I am Bolaji Eze, and I'm saying have a beautiful Wednesday.
Ogundimu, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much for coming,
Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see
It's
you
my
again.
pleasure. Yes, I'll always be around.
I'm Debo. Adeyinka. Have a nice day.